right. Today we're going to be studying about the apostles. I put a little chart up here with their names to remind you. We have two goals that focus on the apostles. The first goal is for the first, second, third grade, and that is the names of the apostles. For the fourth and fifth grade, they need to know the names as well. But they also need to know a lot about the apostles, and that is called Know the Apostles. So we're going to begin with the song of the apostles' names, and John's going to play that for us.
Jesus called them one by one, Peter, Andrew, James, and John. Next came Philip, Thomas too, Matthew and Bartholomew. Yes, Jesus called them. Yes, Jesus called them. Yes, Jesus called them, and they all followed him. James, the one they call the less, Simon, also Thaddeus, 12th apostle Judas made, Jesus was by him betrayed. Yes, Jesus called them. Yes, Jesus called them. Yes, Jesus called them, and they all followed him.
Can you turn that off? Thank you. Okay, now in our book, we have pages and pages about the apostles. We have a page about them separate, and then we have together as a group, we have information about them. And we've studied this before. We're just going to go through it and refresh your mind a little bit. Okay, Jesus was the one that appointed the apostles. He appointed 12 original apostles, and those are the ones that we're going to be studying about, the ones whose names are right up here. Now, when he met the apostles, he also they lived with him, they worked with him, they watched him heal the sick and raise the dead. They watched him do all kinds of miracles, and Jesus they saw him remove evil spirits. They saw him just speak in different languages. Jesus he was trying to get them ready. He had a very short time. He had like 3 years is all he had to get these men ready to preach to the whole world about the good news of Christ and the good news of salvation. And so he had a very limited time in order to do all this. So he did it. He gave them special powers. God gave them special powers in order to be able to impress people, in order for people to be able to understand them. And so let's go over some of the questions that you're going to have to know in order to complete your goal. Now, the first part of the questions are pretty easy. Like, how many men did Jesus appoint? 12. And what did Jesus call this group of men? He called them apostles. Who were Jesus' 3 closest apostles? Now, I know sometimes we have to think about that one. Who were his 3 closest apostles? Those were also the 3 that he took on the mountain when he was transfigured, when he was changed, when his clothes and his face were as white as lightning, and when he met with Moses and Elijah. And those 3 closest apostles are Peter, James, and John. Peter, James, and John are his 3 closest apostles. Just a second, I need a drink. Now, his beloved apostle was John. John was his beloved apostle. When he was dying on the cross, he told John, he looked at John and he said, "Behold, this is now your mother." So he was asking John to take care of his mother, and he told his mother, "This is now your son." And so he was asking John to please take care of his mother for him. It was custom in the Jewish families for the oldest son to be responsible for the parent that was left, the mother. When the father died and the mother was left, the oldest son was the one that had whole responsibility for caring for her. And so he was asking John to step in and take care of his mother for him. Okay. Now the next question was, who betrayed Jesus? That would be Judas. Judas betrayed Jesus. He betrayed him for 30 pieces of silver. And Judas was after Judas betrayed Jesus, he was also the treasurer of the group, and he took money, and he stole money from the apostles. So after Judas betrayed Jesus, he felt very bad about it. Went back to the temple and he threw the money in there into the temple that he had been paid to betray Jesus. He also went out and hung himself, and that was then that made 11 apostles, and they replaced Judas with a man named Matthias. So Judas was the one that betrayed Jesus. Okay, we have two sets of brothers here. You need to know who the brothers are. The two sets of brothers are Peter and Andrew, and James and John. And then there was also an apostle who Jesus nicknamed Cephas, or Rock. So who did Jesus nickname the Rock? And that would be Peter. He said, upon this rock, I will build my church. Which apostle was a tax collector? The tax collector was Matthew. Here he is. Matthew was the tax collector. He's also called Levi sometimes. Which apostle was known as a zealot? The zealot was Simon. And a zealot means he was very much against the Roman government and very much for the Jewish religion. And then there was one apostle who said, after Jesus had died and was risen from the dead, and they were all meeting together again, all of the apostles, there was one apostle that said, I won't believe it's you, Jesus, unless I can see the holes in your hand and feel the slit in your side. And which one was that? That was Thomas. And for that, he was given a nickname, Doubting Thomas. Okay, now, like I said earlier, Jesus gave the apostles certain powers so that when they went out, they could do their job. They could impress people. They could get the people interested in what they were doing so that they could be taught. Some of the powers that were given to the apostles, they were given the power to drive out evil spirits, to heal the sick, to raise the dead. They were given the power to speak in different languages. They were given the power to drink deadly poison and not be harmed. They were given the power to be bitten by poisonous snakes and scorpions and not be harmed. You remember there was a time, I'm pretty sure it was Paul, who was bitten by a deadly snake right here on his hand, and he just flipped it off into the fire, and he was not harmed. So that's really, oh, and also they were able to overcome all of the power of the enemy, which was the devil, and that nothing would harm you when you were out preaching the word. They were told at times to just go into all the world and preach the gospel to every creature. And they were told, just don't take anything with you. Just take your clothes on your back. Don't take a sack. Don't take food. Just go. And when you go to a town, if they accept you, then go and stay where you're invited to stay and eat the food that you're told that you can eat. And if they do not want to hear from you, if they reject you, you leave that town and you wipe the dust off of your feet. And it says that they will be dealt with. It would be better to be in Sodom and Gomorrah to be in that town at the end of time. So, but those are the questions that we have for you to learn. We've gone over them before, and they're pretty easy. So anyway, whenever we all get back together, if you'll come and see me, then we'll work on your, and we'll also work on in class. We'll work on your 12 apostles, and we'll work on the Know the Apostles in class. So hope to see you soon. Bye.